Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Recorded live from western northeast South Dakota. This is the Massenomics podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Recorded live.
Isn't everything recorded live?
I don't know what the alternative is.
Unless you're recording a recording.
Yeah, right.
But even that, you can make the argument you're still recording that live.
Recorded in front of a live studio audience.
We don't have that.
No,
we don't have that yet.
Is Bernie gone?
The dog?
Yeah.
Dog didn't even want to come down today.
No. That direction thing, though, I was actually two things about the western northeast South Dakota. One thing is, if you think back to our Q&A episode from last week, we had someone from Aberdeen, Scotland that had asked a question about which Aberdeen is better.
Yep.
And then he reached out and was going to send us something from Aberdeen, Scotland, I believe. I think so. That's probably a future SAC segment at some point in time.
We know how international shipping works.
In like
3 months,
half a year.
Yeah.
But so he asked for my address, and I just moved.
Right. Yeah. You're also.
I'm actually homeless right now. In some ways that you can consider myself homeless. This is the first time I haven't.
You're nomadic. Tanner.
Yeah, this is the first time I haven't owned a house in like 15 years, or rented even one.
Peasant,
yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm technically not living in Aberdeen city limits anymore. My address does not say Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And this is a guy from Aberdeen, Scotland that wanted to send us something from one Aberdeen to another, and I sent him my address without thinking about that, and he goes, "That's not Aberdeen. I feel like I'm being lied to. I feel like I've been lied to the whole time."
Yep.
Because it was Bath. It's
The
technically
old
a
bait and
Bath.
switch
Yeah.
there.
He's like, "Bath? That's not Aberdeen."
Yeah. One of the suburbs of Aberdeen,
Yeah.
right?
So the other question is, do I technically still live in western northeast South Dakota? And I think the answer is yes.
I mean, you did move, 2 miles away?
Well, it's like 15.
Oh, it is that far?
Yeah, it takes me like 20 minutes to
it
get
does.
to town.
I thought you were
Yeah.
just outside of town.
No, it's like it's like an 18-minute drive to get to
okay.
it's like a 20-minute drive to get to your house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like just a couple miles outside the city limits.
No.
I'm getting the families mixed around here. I think.
No, it's a fair drive.
Okay. Wow.
So this is the first time that I actually haven't lived in Aberdeen since I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Outside of like some Army stuff and
Right,
that
yeah.
sort of thing, but like my permanent address hadn't been Aberdeen. Then the other thing I was thinking about that, I don't know if it was directly related to this, but the thought came across my mind at one point in time. The high school that I went to was called Northwestern High School.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's not far from Aberdeen, you know.
No,
it's
just down the road.
It's 25 miles from Aberdeen. It's called Northwestern. Do you know why it's called Northwestern?
Is it because? Which
is something I haven't thought about many times in my life, and having gone to school there for 13 years.
It's one of those things you just take for granted.
Well, I don't remember ever once anyone in my school ever saying why are we called Northwestern?
Because the town is not called Northwestern. The town is called Millette.
And it's not in the northwestern portion of the state of South Dakota,
or the county even, is it? Or is it not in Brown County?
It's not in Brown County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's in Spink County.
Okay.
And it is kind of in the northwestern quadrant.
That was
it's at least
my
in
guess.
the northwestern quadrant. I don't know that it's like super northwest, but it is in the northwest.
Because a lot of times when schools because that's
consolidate,
a school, they take on like the
Yeah.
county name to not offend anyone.
Yeah, for people that live in metropolitan areas that aren't used to this, the school that I went to is made up of like literally 12 towns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is. There was
and
probably
that gets you to a graduating class of how many, Tanner?
26, and ours being the largest class of all 13 classes in the entire school at the time.
See, and I'm laughing like I went to a big school. My graduating class was like 78.
But to me, that would be big.
And that was actually at the time like the smallest graduating class in history when I graduated.
Okay. Mine was the biggest. Not in history, but at that point in time. Yeah. But so that was the other thing. It's funny. It's Northwestern. And I never once heard anyone talk about why. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Fun geography facts for everyone.
So Northwestern High School still probably technically in western northeast South Dakota.
I think it makes the cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost a state of mind, Tanner, really.
That's true.
As much as it is a geographic location.
Yes. And that segues me into our ads.
Have we not read the ads yet?
No, our ads.
I'm glad you're paying attention.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the very best hands possible. We've got a discount code with them over at Hybrid, and it's MASS, M-A-S-S. That's in all caps, and it'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of the membership at hybridperformancemethod.com. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more, visit them at texaspowerbars.com. This episode is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large, of course, is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. We've got a discount code with them. That is MASS20 at checkout, and that'll save you 20% off on all Lifting Large branded products. Today's episode is also brought to you by SPUD Inc. The goal of SPUD Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. That's our sponsors.
Well, all right. Should we crack into a cold one
Ooh,
here, Tanner?
a cold, crispy one.
And these
is our What's in the Can segment.
these are what's in the can. I know you might know what this is. I know that it's a purple label. Outside of that, I don't know what it is. These were sent.
Oh, okay.
These were sent from
you
our
don't?
neighbors.
Did you look at what this was?
I didn't look at what the flavor was. No.
Oh, but do you know what it is?
Well, it's from our friends of the
Oh
north.
yeah, you're right.
Right. I don't remember who sent them. Now you probably do, but it's from the same person that sent us the maple.
Yeah, I think it's the president of Ontario.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I think it's Big Alex maybe.
Okay.
This gets tough. There's a lot of people that
I know. I feel like we've had an increasing presence in Canada. Like we're sending a lot of orders to
true.
Canada lately.
Yeah.
Like a lot, it feels like.
Our neighbors to the east, Canadians.
What do we got?
Smell test.
Something's still not quite right with these. Are these all maple flavor or all of these? Because this was the maple whatever we had the last time.
Yeah.
Is this
it's not maple flavored, it's maple water.
Yeah, maple water.
Yeah.
But is that? I think the maple undertones don't gel well with the water.
This one tastes less bad than that other one.
It's much more tolerable. God,
Yeah.
I can't believe I drank the whole thing of that other one.
That other one was
I'm just gonna say grape just because I saw it was a purple label. I don't know if that's right though.
I can't even remember.
Blackberry lemon. What?
Blackberry lemon sparkling maple water.
It's a medley.
Drink simple. This tastes better than the
Oh yeah, it is significantly better.
What was that orange fruit? Mango?
Oh yeah, it was mango.
Something.
Was it mango pear or mango honey?
That's what I think it was. Mango honey maple water, something like that.
Yeah.
It was rancid is what it was.
You don't drink those. Someone offers you one of those, don't take it. It's
Blackberry, if you're thirsty, go ahead and drink it. I mean, it's not going to... I think I gave that one like a 1. You know, that's where we had to determine what the bottom of the scale was.
Yeah,
like
that was new uncharted territory for us. We didn't know what a 1 was, and we discovered a 1 after that.
I think I know what I'll give this. And we're talking JD Power and Associates Awards out of a 5-point scale, half point.
I think I'd give this one a... I'm feeling a 2 to a 2.5 here.
I was going to say the exact same thing. It's either a 2. My gut instinct was 2. Then I took another sip and I said, maybe it's a 2.5. I'm going to do one more sip and make my final decision on that.
Because most things are a 3.5, and this is at least a full point below most things, but...
I'm going to say a 2. It's just not that good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. It's cold. That's its best thing it's got. It's cold.
It is better than the other one though.
Yeah.
The other one was piss.
Still, I think the moral here is don't let maple be in the water flavoring. Right?
I'm surprised they're making a go at this.
People must be buying them.
They try these first.
They need to get God, I got like a hair in my mouth, Tanner. That ever happened?
It's just the maple.
maybe it is the flavor. It mimics hair in your mouth. One of the benefits of it. Tanner, did you see the tech news today?
Oh, was it? I don't know if it was today, but are you talking about the government going after Facebook and telling them that they need to divest of WhatsApp and Instagram?
Oh, did they actually come out and say that?
They have, yeah. I mean, I
knew
don't
there
know.
was like getting some pressure there, but did they actually say
that they're, I think specifically that they've said WhatsApp and Instagram that they think that they need to divest of those because
they have fair.
You know,
if that's not a monopoly, then
right.
what is, right?
Yeah. Well, and they say, well, there's TikTok and Snapchat that they don't, there's their competitors, They don't own those, and I'm like, yeah, but you probably would if you get the opportunity.
They would if they could have tried to buy Snapchat,
right,
yeah. So they said, we can't get stories. We'll just put them in Instagram.
We'll just do that. Yeah.
That was not the tech news I was talking about, though. Tanner, you are an AirPods guy.
Yes.
Apple has announced new AirPods.
Well,
today.
damn it, I don't want them to get new things of something I have. Like then I feel like that I'm left behind.
This might not make you feel so left behind, or maybe it'll make you feel really left behind. So they are called the AirPods Max, which is it's an over the ear style, much like the headphones we're wearing right now.
Okay.
So it's a much bigger headphone. Would you like to guess to the retail?
$300.
Higher.
Ooh. $450.
Higher.
Holy crap! Who's buying these? $500.
Higher.
I'm just gonna guess $100 increments because everyone is exceedingly more than is it $700?
$550.
Okay. I'm like, you've already blown way past what I think. Like 300 was my high number guess.
Yeah, it's they're $550, and
that's insane.
That's probably the most noteworthy thing about them is the price.
That's insane. How could it be worth that?
I'm not sure if they are yet.
Also, before you even said that, when I was just assuming the price was the same, I was like, I kind of prefer my in-ear ones because I when I wear them, I don't want a
big thing on
headset
your head,
on my. I suppose if you're like super into music, there's
and even that. So this is starting to get into like territories that I didn't even hardly know exist, but like there is for like the real audiophiles out there, the people that really love their headphones.
Yeah.
Apparently there is a world where you can buy $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000 headphones. Like those do exist.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know that. But these obviously aren't going to be competing with that because that's such a, why would Apple even want to be, that's such a niche world.
Right,
like why would you want to be there? But they're like kind of noise canceling travel headphones. I
did hear something about that because I saw like a meme and someone said, better be canceling. I can't remember what it was, but better be canceling more than just noise.
So it's like, okay, you're kind of competing in like that Bose and like Sony like world, but those are like $350.
Right.
So you're significantly more than the competition there. So.
$550 is a big number for a pair of headphones.
Yeah. I was just curious, you as an AirPod user.
Oh, I do like my AirPods though.
And then someone that doesn't like to spend maybe gratuitous amounts of money on things, Tanner, I was curious what you thought of a $550
I think that's
price point.
I think that's quite insane. But I do. What do AirPods cost? Like $110 or something like that?
The regular ones I think are $150.
Okay.
But you can probably get those on sale like routinely for maybe $125-ish.
Yeah.
And then there's the AirPods Pro. They're $250. You can find those on sale for $200.
And what do those do differently?
Those ones actually have like
controls on them or something?
No. They have like a rubber piece that actually goes in your ear. Like they're fitted better.
Oh, okay.
And then they do have noise canceling too. So you can.
Sure. I do know that the ones for like $100 and some are that's worth it to me. Like, and as you said, as someone that's kind of,
do you still use yours a fair amount?
I use mine a lot, and
like when do you use yours?
I use mine at home a lot, because there's a lot of things going on all the time, and it's like
you got to get away from it all.
And also, I can just sometimes if I work from home, I have them in listening to something, and then someone calls me, and all of a sudden I just talk on my phone, and I don't have to hold my phone up to my ear, and they don't know that they're on speakerphone, or it doesn't feel like they're on speakerphone. So yeah, I use them a lot, or I'll if I lay in bed and want to watch a YouTube video and not have sound blaring, like they're well worth it.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, for my life, anyways, they fit in well. And at $150, that's a very digestible
That is
price.
Yeah, that's not
Right.
not too bad.
Right. $550 is,
It's the
I
one
think,
that's-
pretty hard about things that I buy that's cost $550.
Yeah, and the one that I've tried to pay attention. This was, I think, just announced yesterday, or was it today? I'm getting my days mixed around now. But the one that I have a hard time, and I haven't seen anyone comment on this yet, is so like the AirPods, like the ones you have, they have a battery that does go bad eventually. When that battery goes bad, they're essentially garbage.
Right.
So they are not a product you have
Forever.
for a long time.
Right.
A lot of people like of steady use. A couple of years is really all you're getting.
Right.
I'm curious on the $550 ones. If I'm buying a $550 pair of headphones, I would normally think like, all right, that
You
is
want
a
those to
product that I'm
last
going
your
to
life.
baby, and that is a lifetime product.
Like 10 years for sure.
Oh
Like,
yeah, but like, there's no reason that a $550 pair of headphones shouldn't. And like historically, they have been like sound equipment, because of the laws of physics, typically isn't like technology where it phases out for something new. Like speakers need room to make noise, and so like you buy nice speakers 20 years ago, they're still nice speakers today. There's not a lot of things that can happen for. But with these, so it's like, okay, so you buy these $550 headphones. If the battery goes bad in 4 years, do they replace the battery in these ones now because they're bigger, or are they just like, oh yeah, sorry, these are
another
also
pair.
a disposable product
Yeah.
too? That's kind of the one that I'm curious on is how that works. But
for sure. Oof.
so something to think about for your Christmas. Christmas is just around the corner, Tanner.
Right.
Get those on your wish list.
I actually bought members of my family AirPods for Christmas.
Did you?
Yeah. And I mean, assuming Jack's not listening to this, it won't surprise him, but my wife already knows that she's getting those, so no surprise there.
Hopefully the kids aren't listening.
Yeah.
All right, Tanner, we have, like always, a lot to talk about this week.
We do have a lot.
And
We have a really cool guest this week, too.
We do have a really cool guest. We haven't even started one of our topics on our list
Oh.
here, Tanner, and we're we're ways into this already.
We're going to have to get through these rundowns.
Okay, we are going to have to go through the rundown. Maybe up first we should talk about our collaboration.
Yes.
We do have.
There we go.
So this has been something we've been excited about for a while. Our good friends over at Kinda Fit, Kinda Fat.
Yep.
We talked with them, and this goes back several months now. We have a t-shirt collaboration with them. By the time you guys are seeing this, you've probably ran across, or we've probably pushed or promoted or shown their version of the t-shirt.
Yep.
That's dropping as we record this in 2 days. Ours is coming out next week. But yeah, it was a fun, cool collaboration to do. And they have the the Massenomics tie-in. Their brand is more about the food style of things. Massenomics has always had a heavy beverage influence.
Brewskis.
And what goes better than, food and beer? It's just a match made in heaven. So we bounced around some different ideas. Their shirt has one of their characters that's featured on a few of their tees, like their Strongman guy doing a keg stand.
Yep.
Looks very cool. And the print looks great. And our t-shirt has a guy going ham on some pizza and beer.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a really cool collaboration.
It will be cool.
It's our first collaboration with a company like this.
Right. Well, we did Ailmonia with it's our first t-shirt collaboration with another t-shirt
Yes, I should
company
clarify.
like that. Yeah.
T-shirt collaboration. Which it's almost like, but you guys are both apparel companies. What's going on there? Hey, I think we both have awesome things going on.
Yep.
So
The old rising tide raises all the ships.
That's right.
Even the ships in western northeast South Dakota.
that's right. We're a long ways from the ocean.
But I think tentatively next week we would probably have Dean and Alex on from
yes,
kind of so we'll be able to talk about.
Yeah, normally we would talk about this much more, but yeah, I think we are as of right now we are going to have the Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat guys on the podcast next week. So we don't need to talk about
we can talk a little bit
our
about their
stuff
business and what they
nonstop.
got.
Nonstop this week. We'll barrage you guys with that next week. But
for sure.
Be on the lookout. Go on
Buy
their
their
site.
shirt.
Yeah, go on their shirt or go on their site, buy their shirt, and then the week that you're hearing this, towards the end of the week, go on our site and buy ours.
And you kind of need both. They're like
You do
the
need
matching
both.
set.
Yeah, it's you can't have just one of them.
they're
Like
sister
they
shirts.
do need to
Yeah.
go together. So
Right.
you're gonna want to make sure you get on both of those. And I think this goes without saying, but they are limited edition. Like these are a thing that once they're gone, they are gone.
Yep.
So
For
get
sure.
on it. Next up on the list, Tanner. Do we want to do? No, I want to end this on a more happy note. So we're going to get this one out of the way. We're going to get this one out of the way. So this past weekend,
There was a little bit of controversy.
there was a little bit of controversy.
There was a little bit of Massenomics
And
controversy.
Massenomics, we don't run into controversy too often.
Not very often, really.
We almost try to avoid it for the most part. We just got
Typically.
too many. Life's just too good to be bogged down in anything.
That is true.
And it was a weird night. Like it was, I think Saturday night.
Yeah.
You had been moving all day, I believe.
Yeah.
Moving onto the street because you're now homeless.
Moving into our cardboard box in Bath.
I was kind of settling down with my family for the night. And I get a text message from you. And I think it was a screenshot. And whenever I get a message and I can see the screenshot, I'm like, this is going to be something interesting.
I got to look at it.
Either someone's saying something or there's something going on.
Usually something. There's a reason.
There's something going on when you get the screenshot.
Yeah.
It's always noteworthy for sure. And so
I'm a fan of the screen. I'm a fan of the screenshot and send because there's things that
it makes
you
it
can't put into words.
There's
that,
definitely times where I haven't done it in the past. And I'm like, well, so I said this and he said this. I'm like, okay, a screenshot would have made this so much easier. So I've adopted that strategy too, Tanner. But so I see the screenshot in the window and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? And what was going on here was fitness equipment company, Rep Fitness, had a post on Instagram that showed some flags they had recently came out with as holiday gift ideas.
Yep.
Which, hey, everyone loves some holiday gifts. Gym flags. Yeah, great idea. But where the problem was the design with the one. And Massenomics, well, I think if you ask some people who know who we are, they would, and even people that don't, they would probably say we're fairly well known for our Don't Curl on Me flag.
Yep.
It is a very popular product for us. We sell
One of
a
our
lot
most
of them.
popular
One of our
products,
most popular items since we've had it. And I'd like to think we're kind of known for that one a little bit.
Yeah.
And so Rep Fitness had a Curl in Me flag.
Right.
And you say, well, what was your flag? Ours is Don't Curl in Me. Theirs was Curl in Me.
Yes.
And the art was very, very similar. It was about what you would expect. We're just missing one word. I guess there's
a rack sitting on it in the exact same angle.
Their rack did have the weight pulse on it. Ours didn't. That was the biggest difference.
And their bar in the barbell on the rack is their rackable curl bar. So that was kind of their angle to the whole thing.
So if you really, really pay attention to their product line and what they got going on, that might have clicked with you. I would imagine most people probably aren't that in tune with with every bar a company's releasing. So naturally, we were both a little taken aback and a little frustrated too. Like immediately it was like, okay, there has to be something going on here where we're like, we missed something or we're not understanding anything. And it was like, oh, okay. There's a few people already making comments like, "Hey, Massenomics already did this."
Then that's how it came to my attention originally, as we were getting tagged and being like, "Hey, what the hey?"
Yeah, and so there was a few people like, "Hey, Massenomics did this," and there was the comment of, "Oh, well, you can have the choice. You can curl or not curl."
Yeah.
The whole winky face thing, which the winky face. I don't think they meant it this way, but it felt very passive aggressive. Pretty sure they didn't mean it, but at the time you feel like, oh, that's like a fuck you winky face. You know?
Right.
So I made a comment like, I can't even remember what I said. Like, oh, picking up some strong Massenomics vibes from this one. And again, I get the winky face. You can do what you want here.
Yeah, right.
Like, no, I'm not cool with that right now. And there was many calls back and forth.
And we were talking about it like, what is our plan of attack here? Like,
and not like attack, like we need to go on the offensive.
No, I shouldn't say that.
What's the next step forward?
What's appropriate for us to do at this point in time? Because we were annoyed by it for sure. Like we kind of thought we were,
and like we said, it is one of our best-selling products, so it felt weird to just be like, "Oh, nah, you can just go and run with this."
Well, because we could make that product if we thought there's a market.
Like if there's a market for it, we're the ones that own that idea, right? Doesn't it feel like we're supposed to be the ones that own it? Like we're the ones that sell it, we're the ones that have it going. So if there's going to be someone doing a spin on it, it feels like it should be us, or at the very least, we should be notified and be involved and give our blessing on it.
And I think that's the case. That's the point. Is that we could have done something there. But we would have wanted to have been involved in that. Yeah. Involved in that up front.
We would have liked to. And so then we talked about a lot of things that we could have said or wanted to say, but we didn't want to go completely down to the bottom of the barrel on this. So Tanner, you had I thought a very nice image. It was a "Don't Copy Me" image of the flag. And that seemed to get people's attention in a hurry.
Yeah.
Like a hurry.
Well, and 10 minutes deep into this, we had, 10 different memes that we
Yeah,
we're prepared to utilize.
It was like the quiver was loading as we were speaking. We were getting ready for a battle here. And, battle the only way we know how, with memes. But, and all the while this is going on, we're just getting DMs nonstop. Of do you see this? Do you see this? What's going on?
And from
here?
Pretty a lot of people we've had as guests on the podcast. I'd say that a lot of people that are
notable people in the space,
notable people in companies.
Did you guys sign up?
Yeah,
on this?
right.
And because it wasn't just, and that's helped. I guess give some validity to it that it wasn't just us thinking. This. There was a lot of people that our financial success or us selling product has no bearing on their life.
No, but
they were like, this doesn't quite seem right. So that did justify our thoughts that you guys aren't crazy for thinking this way. And so, we put out this idea of like, hey, we kind of feel like we're getting the shaft here a little bit. And very quickly, I guess that did cause some amount of outrage with people. Not so much outrage, but it caught some attention.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, we got an answer. Our rep sent us a message, and we're sorry about it.
They're professional about it,
and we're not all about the fire and brimstone here. We're not like no burn in hell. We're like, okay, yeah, well, let's all just be done with this.
Yeah, and quite honestly, they were getting some pretty bad comments about it. Where like I was upset for those first few minutes, and then once they start to get bad comments, I immediately start to feel like, ooh, I don't like being the people that are responsible for someone else.
Yeah, I don't like an angry internet mob.
Like that.
And I don't want to be like I'm the one like we're the ones promoting an angry internet mob either. Like that's not fun for anyone.
No.
But so we got a message from them. We were both, I think, very cordial about it. They seemed to be understanding.
Yeah. They did given the situation that we got into, they did just as good of a thing as humanly possible at that point.
And so we agreed that what, at this time it's probably best to let's just maybe make this thing go away and disappear. And maybe at a later date we can talk about something
So we did talk about that with them briefly, that at some point in time, maybe there'll be an opportunity that there'll be some sort of comeback of that concept and we'll be involved together in it. And that's the way we would like to see it.
Yeah. I think that's more fair for everyone.
So there's no hard feelings. I don't think.
No. Yeah. We're not, there's some people like really like shitting on rep,
and they've had some other issues this recent week, so it's like pig piling on them.
Yeah, but we're not like, oh, rep sucks. We hate rep. We're never buying rep. Like that's not our mentality at all. It's just I don't think we don't really have anything rep fitness. We don't, but not because we don't like them. We just haven't.
We are at peace and everything, but if they wanted to send some peace offerings, we'd gladly take their equipment.
Gladly take any.
So if you're listening, someone that works for Rep Fitness, we shouldn't have put it out this way. I should have said that we're still mad and we require gifts.
Yeah, this is the only way to make this better.
We require peace offerings.
Yeah, but after this whole thing, and I told Tanner, this kind of started. I'm like, this just feels too stressful right now. Yeah, that light's freaking out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This is too stressful right now. I turned on an episode of The Wire, and I'm like, I'm not going to look at my phone. And all of a sudden, an hour later, I look at it again. I'm like, whoa, what's going on in the world right now? Just like screenshot, message. Like there was a lot of stuff.
It was going wild, and I had been having a busy day, but every once in a while, something comes up in Massenomics that I, regardless of if we're busy, I have to show my wife and be like, oh, this is what's going on, and then she gets that this is going to require a little bit of attention for a while. Then I'm going to be I'm going to be locked on my phone for a little bit here.
This is a bit of a sensitive subject. Actually.
While we get a resolution to this, and Massenomics having had become a bit of a legitimate business at this point. It's not like us messing around and let's dink around on the internet. It's like, oh no, this actually affects our
with strangers.
Yeah, right. This affects our business here. We need to make sure we handle this appropriately. And I think all in all, it was handled.
Yeah,
we could have not posted anything and just reached out to them personally, but we almost needed that to get their attention.
Yes, that is the thing. Is you feel like Rep is this company with 150 some employees. They probably do how many tens of millions, if not 50 to 100 million a year.
Yes,
it feels like they're this massive company, and Massenomics is just this tiny little drop in the bucket. ran by two guys, and it's that thing of it feels like the big guy just punching down so hard on you.
What we did is literally almost our only way to protect ourselves against someone like that in a situation like that. It's almost like the only card we have. We can't afford to pursue. We're not going to pursue legal action. We're not going to, like, the court of public popularity is like using our faithful followers is the only thing we have to be able to utilize at the point. You're almost like Aquaman calling the ocean
the school of fish.
So that's what we had to do. But then we shut it down when it was appropriate to shut it down. But dang it, had they been like mean to us in return, we could have just had so many cool, fun memes to use about it for a while. But not that we want to do that. But
the war chest was loaded; it was ready to go. But
and people were submitting them.
Like it was like the little red nuclear button was there.
Yeah.
And we flipped up the glass. The glass was flipped.
It's like we have the codes ready.
The hand was hovering over the button. And then at the last second, they're like, no. And the destruction clock ticked back one, and then the glass went back down, and we're like, okay, we'll push that away.
Yeah. But it is there still. We do still have the codes.
The codes are still there.
The other point of clarification I would make, and just everyone is very supportive, and a lot of our followers, fans, people we communicate with, very supportive on it. A couple people made the comment, well, that your flag is a rip of the Gadsden flag. And yes, of course it is a parody of the Gadsden flag.
Absolutely what it is. That's why it works.
Of course it is
a parody of that.
And then also the fact that we do have parodies of other things also. We have beer parodies, obviously. Mm-hmm. The big difference to me, which I can draw these lines very easily, and I think a lot of people can. The big difference here is when we parody a company like that, we are not competing in their same market space at all. Like if we're selling a T-shirt to people that lift, that's not competing with the company that we may be choosing to parody. And also we're parodying it to a degree where there is a lot of originality.
We're bringing something new to the conversation here. Like it is making a different statement than what their original thing was.
Whereas us with our Don't Curl in Me flag, when another company that wants to sell flags to gym goers just barely changes.
It's the same target
exact
audience,
same
it's
customers.
The same industry.
They're selling to the identical customers that we are.
Yep. And
the same product to the same customers. Yeah. That's the big line of difference to me. You know, in my head.
And to me that makes absolutely sense. Like that's like, and there was no new. I mean, the new concept was the word "don't" was changed.
Right.
But I mean, it was still the whole thing of curling in a squat rack was the key factor here was discussing curling in the squat rack. Like that didn't change.
Right.
And so that's where it just felt like it was so similar.
Yes. So that I think it's important I think most people get that too.
I think so. There's also a lot of idiots out there that's like, well, a parody's a copy of that. Like there are some people that their brain doesn't understand any nuance in anything. Like the world is purely right, purely wrong, black and white. For those people, hey, I guess that's the world you live in, man.
Yeah.
Most people are smart enough to not think that way.
Yeah. So for now, the self-destruct button, or I guess not self-destruct, but more like what you said, the nuclear launch button is covered back up.
It's covered back up in the roomish.
It is good to see the support though, whether it's even in a not a perfect scenario. It is just like, we got some people that kind of.
There's only been one other thing that's happened like this, Tanner. Do you remember?
Yes, I do
shirt.
know. Yes, the bench shirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that one was an actual straight up rip.
It was our exact bench heavy shirt.
They actually took our shirt and just removed the logo. Yeah. That was the only other
They
time.
removed the Massenomics part of it and nothing else.
Yeah. And that one,
it still even said Big Pecs cash checks.
It was 100% the same. Yeah. Just and that was one where we tried to send the DM and be cordial. And
we even tried that first.
Yeah. And they just were not
receptive.
Yep.
So it's like, we have no choice now.
Oh yeah.
We have to send the Massenomics army.
Yeah. So luckily we haven't had to deal with too much of this.
No.
Because it's not fun for anyone.
No, it isn't.
Okay, Tanner. We're getting... we still have time.
We better do a sack.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So this sack, often like it many times is a box.
Okay. I'm following so far.
And this is from the Strength Co. The Strength Co. The Strength Company, the Strength Co. is a company that started producing American-made weight plates. They were on an episode of Starting Strength. This is the first time I heard about him. Rip was on there, and he interviewed Grant, I believe is the owner of the company. Had him on, and I think they're cast weight plates. They're similar to Rogue has come out with their deep dish ones, and Kabuki has come out with theirs. I think they're right in line with those type of plates.
And for people that aren't up on what cast plates are,
yeah, I guess they're molded. And then I don't know.
it's
Then
like,
there's
like stuff is poured into a cast.
poured
right?
into a mold.
Versus being milled out of like a block of.
But then these may be, a lot of times these are then milled after being cast. I don't know if that's the case with these ones or not.
Okay.
I don't know.
So when they say
well
a
enough.
plate is milled, though, are they talking about like it was cast and then milled?
Like the York milled plates that we have, as far as I understand it, were cast and then milled to perfect, to quote unquote, like a more specific tolerance and everything.
Interesting. So
that's how I understand
is
it.
anything like milled out of a block, actually?
I think like the Rogue Arnold plates are milled out of like stainless steel. Yeah. Like they start with like a block of metal and they mill those down. But I don't know if many others are. But so first we'll look at the shirts they sent us. I think there's one in your size and one in mine. And
what do we got here?
So this is, like I said,
the Strength Co. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
What does yours say?
So I have a Strength Co. We got a bulldog running with the flag. It
looks like kind of their mascot. Probably
it's got like this kind of this nice sort of retro-y mascot kind of feel to it.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that.
Cool logo. And mine's pretty subtle. You know, it's just the red shirt with the Strength Co. on the chest and the flag. And the key thing with these guys, they are American-made plates, and that's significant to, I think, some people that are looking for that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Got a sticker from them here, and then the hats.
The hats.
I'll let you look at this one.
Make America Strong Again. I was going to say, this is a hat that if you wear in public right now, you know,
it's going to be polarizing.
We live in South Dakota, so you can really pretty much get away with this here. Yeah. But there's a lot of places where you got to be careful.
These two hats are identical.
They are.
Your hat sends that hat you're holding
being red sends a much different message to a lot of the country,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they say "Make America Strong Again." So these are Mesa hats.
Yeah, Mesa hats. Yeah.
But actually, this hat, I've tried this one on. I like this hat.
This is a very substantial feeling hat. Like it's and made in the USA, which I don't think hardly any hats are.
No, and I have a large head and currently a lot of hair that just kind of poofs out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's a good
fit.
I
like this. It has, if you had a small head, you would probably struggle for this.
Well, that's good.
And it has a pretty high profile.
Because I have a big head too. Yeah.
I like the fit of this hat, and it's obviously like a very, I don't know, you call this retro or whatever. Yeah. It's got this cord around
it has the little rope on the front.
I'm like, I could see us having a cool hat of like this hat version too. Couldn't you?
For sure. Yeah, that's a good looking.
Yeah, it's got the American flag on the side.
Yep.
Which I think fits in good with their branding and everything.
Yeah.
I'd really like to get our hands on a couple of their plates and see how they are too.
That'd be the real test there, Tanner.
Yes. But I do like this hat. I really could see me wearing this hat. Just number one, just how well it, like, I just really like the fit of it. And it also kind of has a look. That red hat in particular, you send a strong message.
Oh, you do
a little more.
This is one where everyone's going to do a double take.
And see, my thing personally, I like to not send any political messages at all.
Yeah.
So that's.
I know, because regardless of it,
I don't want to have a conversation with anyone about any of it.
Either someone's going to be mad at you, and there's going to be someone that's mad at you and and come up and talk to you, or someone that really loves it and is going to want to come talk to you. And I don't want to talk to either one of those people.
No, exactly. And also, the part would be funny. What would be funny if someone was mad at you? You'd be like, you have to read the hat. And they're like, oh.
Yeah. You just put out my fire there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, these, I really like this t-shirt though.
Also, like a nice feeling t-shirt that they have too.
Yeah. These are,
I wasn't 100% familiar. I bet it's a made in, I'm not sure about this, but I wonder if it's not a made in Do you think it's a Made in America T-shirt?
Yeah, it is. It
Okay.
says right here.
Yeah.
LA, baby. Los Angeles.
It's got a nice feel to it, though.
It is, very nice.
I haven't seen that. We know about a lot about T-shirt
We're
blanks
familiar
at
with
this
the
point in
T-shirt
time,
game
and
a little bit.
I don't think I'd seen this before, but it's a nice blank. It's a nice shirt that it's on.
Yeah.
So they got good stuff.
Yeah, the strength co.
At least their apparel side of it's good. I bet their plates are good too, but we kind of need to
We're gonna
lay our hands some on to make a fight. So
really give the
maybe we need to
seal of approval there.
get a set. And I think they have some some available. I know like everywhere is struggling to keep anything in available and on hand, but I'm sure they're pumping them out as fast as they can make them.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for those items.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Are we gonna hop to our guest now, or
I think so.
I mean, ads, I suppose first, but
Well, I mean that's what everyone came for, Tanner.
that's true.
Are we ready for this though?
Yeah, let's do the ads.
Okay.
Then we'll get Nick Best on the horn.
Okay. Here we go. This episode of the Massenomics podcast is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS in all caps, that's MASS, for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. The Massenomics podcast is also brought to you by SPUD Inc. and the Swing Set Straps. The SPUD Inc. Swings...
Spud.
I think I've said this before, Tanner. There's a lot of S's on that.
They do that to us on purpose.
They do. The SPUD Inc. Swing Set Straps turn any regular or specialty bar into a yoke that won't take up space in your home gym. Designed to be even more challenging than a traditional yoke, the swinging weights will test your stabilizer muscles like never before. And with a maximum capacity of 800 pounds, you won't ever need a traditional yoke to get your strongman training in. They're easily carried in a gym bag, and the swing set straps can be used for a variety of exercises and variations. Acting as weight releasers on the squat, adding an extra challenge to the overhead press, or serving as chain holders for your bench press. No matter how you like to train, you'll find something new with the swing set straps. And a little warning here, the first use of the swing set straps may induce a walk similar to a late night stumble, so watch yourself.
Before you do the next one, I was thinking of a meme there. I know it's not the one you're talking about, but you're doing the swing set strap. Is it the big Ray strap, or what is their strap that they have where you hang in it and you hang upside down?
I think they do call it the big Ray
Okay,
strap.
do we do that one as an ad on here sometimes or
I
not?
forget. They have
But
so many products. I forget.
But you've seen Top Gun before, or
I've never actually seen all of Top Gun before.
yeah, I don't know exactly how exactly you lay it out, but there's a scene in there where Tom Cruise goes, "Because I was inverted." And like it would be like using the swing, and he goes, because he's like, gets into popular scene, and he's like, "Because I was inverted," and like that would be the extent of the clip, yeah.
He actually says that in that movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's like is flying a jet and he turns upside down and gets like right next to the windshield of a Russian guy. And like he's explaining how he saw this guy and he gave him the bird. And she's like, how could you have been that close to him? And she's like, and he's like, because I was inverted. Yeah. And he makes some hands. I'm going like this. I can't remember. He does something in the classroom and everyone's like, yeah, sure you were.
The 80s. Anything was going then, Tanner. Check out these SPUD Inc. swing set straps at spud-inc-straps.com. This also reminds me of the meme that you discussed on the podcast like 2 weeks ago, and everyone's like, heard it on the Massenomics podcast, heard it on there first.
We need to do that. Was the compass of the
that came
Jack
up a lot.
Sparrow,
And that was really funny. How
we'll have to do that. Well, maybe we'll make this one for SPUD Inc. And if they post it, then you can go comment that you heard about this on the Massenomics podcast.
As heard in the ad read of the Massenomics, because people are like, why are the ads taking so long right now? I better go back and see what they talked about.
Yes,
but we're meme planning.
Yeah. On air.
Meme scheming.
Yeah.
Today's show, last but not least, is brought to you by Lifting Large. Since 2004, Lifting Large has been providing lifters across the world with powerlifting gear from Titan Support Systems. Lifting Large has the largest in-stock supply on Titan wrist and knee wraps in the entire world, Tanner. The whole world. So if you can hop in your little Tom Cruise jet, you can still get it.
Yeah.
Home of the ground lock deadlift slipper. They are always in stock and always ready to ship. They also have ER competition combo racks that are ready to go whenever you want them. They are the only powerlifting supplier with live website chat support available during the weekdays. You can get email replies to your questions in hours, not days. They are now accepting Amazon Pay and Stripe for a quick and simple checkout. And once you're checked out, your order will ship fast with same-day shipping on most orders. Massenomics listeners can use code MASS20, that's MASS20, to get 20% off Lifting Large branded products and also receive an additional 50 rewards points added to your Lifting Large account. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge, DOTCOM. That's it, Tanner.
As I've been drinking this more, something's changed with my taste buds. It now just tastes like a Coca-Cola to me.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like completely like messed up my taste buds that it just tastes like I'm drinking a Coke. Do you get that at all?
Okay, now that you say it, it tastes like
it tastes like a flat Coke.
I was gonna say it tastes like when you have like a. So my mom would always buy diet caffeine-free Coke. So it's like you take a diet caffeine-free Coke, you put it in ice in water.
Yeah.
You let it sit so like the ice melts into it, and also it's like an hour
watered
later.
down flat.
So it's kind of watered down. It's kind of flat. It's not really that cold anymore. Then I would say, Like Coke.
Okay.
So like the worst version of Coke.
Yeah.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, Coke at its very worst.
At its very worst. This is reminiscent of it.
All right. Now we're going to get Nick Best on the horn. Hopefully.
Let's do it.
Hopefully that is. It's always hopefully.
Hello?
Hey, Nick, you are live on the Massenomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy. We're excited to have you on.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, thanks, guys. What's up? What's up, Tanner? What's up, Tommy?
How
you guys doing?
We're
doing great.
We are genuinely really excited to have you on. A quick intro. I'll give my quick intro of you, and then maybe you can elaborate on it. But you're multiple-time World's Strongest Man competitor. You starred in History Channel's Strongest Man in History. You've also competed in powerlifting, have set masters world records in that sport as well. And you look a lot like Thanos.
Yeah.
Did we get the highlight reel there? Is that?
Yeah, pretty close. I've done worlds. This year was the 10th time I've done world's
10
strongest
times.
man.
Okay, we were going to ask that too. That's wild.
Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, that put me in a smaller group than the actual winners of the contest.
Of those two have appeared make 10 appearances at World's Strongest Man.
Yeah. There's less people that have done the show more than 10 times than have actually won the show.
Yeah. Wow. That is crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's for what the attrition rate is like, it's really not that it does seem possible that that's true then too. That does make sense.
I mean, it's a sport that beats you up pretty
Right.
good. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what year was your first one?
2010.
Oh, so you're 10 straight years through then.
Nine. I went 9 straight years. Then last year I was off
Okay.
because of the TV show. I put all my effort into the TV show.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to any qualifiers. Everything I did in my training, everything was around the TV show. And then came back this year, and I was going to use it as a healing year. I got my elbows fixed. So I had elbow surgery in June, and then I went and got stem cells in October at BioAccelerator down in Colombia, in Medellin, and get a call just as I'm flying out from Colin Bryce going, "Hey, what do you think about coming down and being an equipment tester and possible referee and like maybe even an alternate?" I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And turns out 2 guys failed on the way there for COVID, and 2 more guys failed there for COVID, and I ended up getting in. So yeah, that's how I got in this year.
And how old are you now, Nick?
I'm 52.
So what? I know not Mark Henry. Mark Felix also competed this year. Who's older?
Yep.
You or Mark Felix?
Mark's actually 2 years older than I am. He's
Okay.
54.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so your first year at World's Strongest Man, you were 41, 42 years old. Was your first year competing there?
Yeah, 41 years, 10 months.
So when did you first get into strongman? At what age?
35.
Okay.
35. I was ADFPA or USA Powerlifting national champion in 96 and 97, and I was world champion in 96. And I did my last powerlifting meet in 2001, and 2003 started doing strongman, and really turned pro in 2005, started competing, did IFSA Worlds in 2006 and in 2007 before it folded.
Yeah.
So and then it took 3 years to get to World's Strongest Man from there.
So in strength sports in general, then since 95, you've had a
You've
very
been in
long,
a long time.
like exceptionally long. Like almost nobody competes in these sports that long. Like what is your secret to that? How is that possible?
I listen to my body, to be quite honest with you. And when it comes to training, you have to know when to push yourself to the limit and when to back off. And it's really hard. You get hurt enough times, you start learning, when you've gone too hard or when you need down days and rest and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny. You begin to really listen and realize how many sets is about right. And, on the days where you got it, you push, and on the days you don't, you just kind of back off and you put in the work. But you just listen to your body. Sometimes you're pulling on something and you're just like, yeah, this is not a good idea today. And other than competition, you push through everything because that's what you're there for.
Yep.
But other than the competition, you got to listen to your body. A lot of guys don't do that. And overtraining's also like really big. I do 8 to 10 working sets per body part. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do a lot of warm-ups and I do a lot of variations. I might do 4 exercises to get to those 8 working sets, but I still try not to go over 8 working sets per body part.
Wise words.
Makes a big difference.
So
yeah, well, I mean, you can lift with your ego or you can just lift smart. I mean, if you're slowly, methodically gaining strength over decades, eventually you'll get to the top and you'll stay there. And once you're there, you're going to stay there until you decide you don't feel like doing it anymore. Once it's not fun, I'll stop.
That's what.
I'm still having fun.
Nick, with all due respect, though, there's a thing called Instagram now, so you kind of do ego lifts, kind of are part of the game.
Yeah. You got to put them on Instagram, Nick.
Well, I do put my lifts on Instagram, but still, I mean, I'm lifting within my realm.
Right.
I'm not going to go do something stupid just for the gram.
Right.
They could risk something, very major. I mean, I see some things and I question it from time to time. I mean, I love some of these guys. I love Larry Wheels, but sometimes I look at him, I'm like, why did you just try to do 225 per hand on the bench press with bars?
Yeah.
I mean, you're really strong, and it's
Yeah.
really, really impressive, but it is the reward going to be worth, the possible injury? Having torn a pec, I can tell you right now, it's
Not worth it.
something like that isn't worth it. But I mean, he's his own man, and he's got a much bigger following on Instagram than I do. So what do I know?
Well, I suppose it depends on what you're after, though. You know?
True. I'm after another 10 years of my career.
Right,
so.
right. And that's what I'm wondering too. You said as long as it's fun, you'll keep doing it. If it wasn't fun, that's when you would stop. Do you have an idea in your head? Like, I mean, if you can, would you want to continue to compete 10 more years, or what do you think? Or do you just not know? Do you just take it a year at a time?
As far as on the world-class level, I take that a year at a time. If my body feels good, I'm going to keep pressing. But I'll still keep competing even when I'm done at the world-class level. I'll still do the Masters probably for the next 3 to 5 years, Masters World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
And then I'm also going to go back to powerlifting quite a bit more. And when you see me go to the 275-pound weight class, then I'm done, like, seriously with strongman at that point.
Right, right.
So, because being up over 300 pounds in your 50s is not the smartest thing to do.
Right.
So, but I mean, I'm still having a lot of fun. I still have that desire, and I still want to get after it. So I'm still going after it. It's just that simple. The stem cells I got at BioAccelerator are making a big difference. I'm very pleased with my progress with those and the difference it's making, and this will extend my career. So I'm very excited about this.
And where'd you say you had to go to do those?
And BioAccelerator in Medellin, Colombia.
Okay, and they're kind of like that place is known for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
oh boy, is it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I had heard a few people.
Eddie Cohen's been there.
Okay.
Frank Mir's been there. Ryback's been there.
Yep.
Kevin Nash. There's a bunch of guys that have been down there.
But it is the real deal. Like you can sure notice the difference.
Oh yeah, right away.
Was it challenging to get there right now, like with the COVID stuff, or not necessarily?
Well, I was originally scheduled to go in April.
Okay. Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and then I was scheduled to go in July, and then we still had the issues. And then finally in October, we got the okay to go down, and I had to take a COVID test within 96 hours of my flight leaving. And then I had to stay semi-quarantined until then. Then once I got down there, it was wear masks and everything else all the time. But Colombia was wide open, unlike the United States. I mean, it was wide open. People were going everywhere. They just had masks on, and people washed their hands, and they had the hand sanitizer everywhere you went. I mean, it was pretty simple. They didn't close anything, at least not while I was there anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go into specifics on this, but like with a procedure like this, you pay completely out of pocket on it, don't you?
Correct, but it's still cheaper than replacing a joint.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Your copay on a hip surgery or a knee replacement is going to be the same as going down there. So why not go down there?
Right.
I mean, just not get the replacement.
Right.
Yep.
Your body is always going to be better than a foreign object.
Yep, for sure.
No, that makes sense.
So, but I mean, I noticed a difference right away. I mean, just thinking clarity. I was able to get out of bed. It didn't hurt. Third day, I rolled out of bed after being there, after the first set of injections. And I was like, oh my God, I did not hurt rolling out of bed. This is awesome.
Does it make you wonder why it isn't a thing that you could do in the United States?
Well, yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, you can do it in the United States, but it's not coming from an umbilical cord.
Okay.
So when you go down there, they get their stem cells from the jelly that's in the umbilical cords. So every time there's a healthy baby born C-section, that's where they get their stem cells from. They track the woman all through birth and her husband to make sure they're both disease-free and clean and everything else, and everything's safe. And then when she has the baby, they go in and harvest the umbilical cord, and that's where they get their stem cells from.
It's such a wild
So
concept.
It really is. But they're neutral cells that can go anywhere in the body.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about blood type or anything else coming out of an umbilical cord. You just put them in, and nobody's going to reject them. In the U.S., they take them for your bone marrow, from your fat, or another outside source like that. But in the U.S., they can only culture them for 1 day.
Oh,
that's it. So they can't even count in the U.S. how many stem cells they're giving you. Where down there, they know exactly how many they're giving you, because they can culture them up to 15 times, so it can double up to 15 times. But the best is between 6 and 7, and so you're getting between 64 and 128 times more in your application than you would here in the U.S.
Yeah, that's a much more efficient procedure. It seems like.
Right.
Yeah. And so, like, my elbows, they did $5 million in each elbow, $20 million in my right shoulder, $20 million in my right hip, $10 million in each disc in the 5 discs in my lower back, so that's $50 million. $1 million in each facet in my lower back, so that's $60 million for my lower back. They went intraspinal because I had a lot of concussions for football, so they put $30 million into my spinal column, which goes all the way up and down your brain. It goes all the way up. Your spinal fluid goes all the way through your brain. And then the next day I got an IV for another $50 million.
So you're practically a walking umbilical cord at this point.
For most intensive purposes, yes.
You're like you have a new body.
Yeah, my brain works a lot better, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And my body is feeling quite a bit better. It really is.
Yeah, that's good. Something about World's Strongest Man, I was wondering. So this year you're in Bradenton, Florida. You competed there this year. Novikov ended up winning. Last year, Martins won, and prior to those two, it had been Thor,
Brian and Sojourners.
Yeah,
Thor, Brian and Sojourners.
The enormous men had kind of dominated for a while, and now these last 2 years, Martins not being small, but a little smaller, Novikov being more of the athletic strongman build. Do you think is it just the circumstances of who's at the top right now, or is there a shift right now, do you think, away from almost like the largest men in the world being able to win that competition, moving a little bit more to an athletic feel, or not necessarily? I mean, is it just the circumstance of each individual year?
Well, I think it's to a certain degree, it's getting a tad bit more athletic, but in the end, I mean, the deadlift was still very static. And Novikov won the deadlift.
Right.
I mean, he broke the world record in that thing. And what people don't get is on that world record that he did, but from collar to collar on the inside, the bar was only 52.5 inches. On a deadlift bar, it's 56.5 inches. So it's 4 inches more narrow, and then the bar is, I think, 1/4 of an inch thicker.
Okay. So you're dealing with far less whip. Yeah.
Oh, no whip.
Yeah.
No whip. And then the weights were all centered in right by the collars, because those wheels didn't stick out for that far for the amount of weight that's on there.
Right.
They really didn't. The bar still bent, but not very much. It bent just because it was really freaking heavy.
Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, it was extremely impressive what he did, because you go on an 18-inch deadlift on the silver dollar deadlifts and use the deadlift bar, and you're getting 6-7 inches of play out of the bar before the things come off the ground. Here, you had maybe an inch before the bar started coming off the ground for Novikov. So very, very different. Two completely different lifts.
Yep.
One's much harder than the other.
Yep.
So that was pretty impressive. The yoke was still pretty close to 1,000 pounds. So that's still pretty darn heavy, especially when they're going 4 days in a row. And that was the third day competing in a row, because because of the hurricane, they didn't get a day off. That was a trip, being in a hurricane, by the way.
Yeah.
If you needed another twist.
I've never seen the news reports like, really? Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny, because they're just trying to be as positive about it, and it not hitting us and not going right over the top of Tampa and Bradenton, and it did the exact opposite of what they wanted. It went right over the top of it.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to actually compete out at the beach, and they were trying to set it up the night before. And as the tide started coming in and stuff, first thing in the morning, they're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And then the hurricane really hit, and the rain and everything else. And yeah, so it got canceled for the day, and we ended up moving into the convention center, which actually turned out to be probably the best competitive conditions we've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing to be inside the building. Temperature,
not staring into the sun at 110 degrees.
Yeah, just the temperature control's got to be huge.
Right. It was amazing. I'm glad I actually got to do that. So it was pretty cool. And then at IMG for the finals, so they went Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can only go so heavy, so hard on your third and fourth day in a row.
Right.
You know, and you're looking at 11 events in 4 days. And yeah, so if you try to go to 1,300 pounds on a yoke, or you can have one or two events that are real heavy, then the rest, you're just destroying your talent. It wouldn't, you know, you're still going to find the strongest man in the world. They decided not to try to kill the guys. That's all. Right. And I mean, you got to figure the last stone was 464. So it's not like the stones were light, except for when Tom did them. Tom made him look like a joke.
It doesn't matter for him at this point.
It doesn't count.
I've seen a lot of stuff. I've never seen somebody on stones like Tom is.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, and the thing is it looks like he's not even trying.
Yeah.
The heaviest stone looks like a warm-up for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at making those look really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his flexibility. I mean, he can almost, when he's going down to grab him, it looks like he's almost has his elbows in touch with the ground, and he's like curling the stone up. You're just like, wow. That's all you can do is sit there and look at it as he's one motioning a 464 stone.
Right.
Yeah.
It does feel like
really impressive.
Yeah, it does feel like whether maybe there's not necessarily the build, they're not purposely shifting to the more athletic like I was talking about before, but there does seem to be a little bit of a changing of the guard, whether it's just because of, you know, age and time in the sport where, you know, obviously Thor's not doing it anymore, Brian getting older.
He still got fifth.
Yeah, no, yes, so, right. Yeah, not to discontinue or, you know, not to discount it, but and then Z being semi-retired to where where he's at, it is allowing an opportunity for all these relatively newer guys to shine more, like Tom and Martin's last year and Novikov and all this. So it is bringing in a different side of it that we haven't seen for 10 years, really.
Yeah, it's really refreshing and it's fun to watch. Plus, now it's anybody's game.
Yeah,
I mean, literally Jerry Pritchett was in second place.
Yeah, yes,
going into the stones, and it had to fall a certain way, and it fell exactly that way in the finals. And the scary thing is you're going to see it when it gets there. So I'm probably not supposed to talk about it.
Oh yeah, that's true. I meant to ask you that too. Like, do you get briefed pretty good on what you can and can't say? I mean, everyone's. The way it is now, everyone's seen that stuff and knows about what happened anyways at this point. You know, there's no secrets in the way social media and everything is.
Right. So technically we are still under contract not to say anything. But Jerry Pritchett came within 2 inches of winning second place.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he had the last stone up there.
Yeah.
2 more inches, and all he had to do was load the stone. He loads the last stone. He's second place.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. And I mean, he was right there. And I mean, he is still an unbelievable talent too.
Yeah.
He is still right there.
His strength just never goes down. It's just always there every year.
Right. And he keeps getting better.
Mm-hmm.
He's still getting better.
Do you find, you know,
and JF.
Yeah, JF Crone too. At the Olympics, for example, you go and you get the feeling Americans are there cheering for Americans. Is World's Strongest Man like that, or is it different because it's all so close knit in general that you're all friends? Like, is there a country bias amongst you all, or not necessarily?
Not that I would notice.
Okay.
I mean, the guys are all cheering for each other. I mean, the English guys want the English guys to place well and make the finals, and same with the U.S. guys, but we're still all cheering for each other. If somebody needs help, we're going to go help them. If somebody forgot some tacky, we're going to give them a tacky. You know, if there's a bit of information that we can give somebody that'll keep them from getting hurt, you know, we're going to give it to them. We really not all that worried about that. We're worried about the sport in general. The better the sport does, the better we will all do. And so we want that to come through. And I mean, it came through in our TV show. I mean,
Right.
You know, the four of us, we all get along. We all, you know, care about each other, and we all talk to one another still. And I mean, we're good friends. So it's a neat thing. It's a neat thing that our community has, because you go to some powerlifting meets and the guys are mean mugging each other and they look like they're going to kill each other. You're like, guys, it's you versus the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You either lift the bar or you don't lift the bar. What are you looking like you're going to get in a fight in here for?
Yeah. You're really competing against yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in powerlifting. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with powerlifting is if you keep getting better, you eventually beat everybody anyway. So as long as you're worried about your lifts, hitting your stuff, if somebody beats you, God bless them. If somebody can't, you know, that's it. You did what you came to do. You go hit your plan, and that's all that matters. And in the end, if you keep improving, you'll have the biggest total in the end, and that's what wins.
Yep.
So you did, you did mention your show there, Nick, and that's something that we had quite a few questions for you on.
The strongest man in history. Okay.
Can you say, is your life different now that you've done that show? Like, do people recognize you more? Like, is that like a changing point in your life?
What do you notice that's changed?
Well, we can start with the basic stuff. I don't have to work a regular job anymore.
Yeah.
That's always a nice little bonus.
Yes. My whole career up to December 31st, 2018, I worked a 60-hour-a-week job. I worked for Nevada Beverage, which is a great company to work for. I miss working for them. They're great guys, great company. You know, I was the sales supervisor for the casinos. So my 4 salespeople that call them at all of the casinos in Las Vegas. And so my team was responsible for $100 million in sales a year. So it's a stressful job. You got to know contracts and, you know what's supposed to be where and who's supposed to be doing what. And it was a stressful job, but it's nice to not have to work 60 hours a week anymore. So that's nice. And I put posts on Instagram and I get paid for them. And then my YouTube's starting to do better. And I mean, it's a really neat thing. I mean, I wish I would have had this opportunity 20 years ago that these kids have, but I still wouldn't change the way I went through it. I mean, I love the fact that I was able to do what I was able to do and still work 60 hours a week in the beer business for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So, and then I know a lot about beer and alcohol, so what can complain?
So it seemed like watching the show, like, you know, you get the impression it's just like a bunch of buddies hanging out and having a good time. Like, did it feel like that the whole time, or did it ever feel like, oh, okay, this is like kind of work. We got to be serious and do this thing?
No. The only time it got serious is when we had to lift stuff. The rest of the time, it was a lot of fun. We're just hanging out with buddies and we're doing stuff and we're going training and, you know, watching, you know, Brian sit there and give Eddie shit because Eddie's only won 1 and Brian's won 4. And we walk into the gym and Brian and Eddie turn the corner and the guy recognizes Eddie right away and just goes off and completely ignores Brian. It was the most one of the most hilarious things. You know, and then of course everybody else in the gym recognizes Brian.
Right.
and stuff. There's no place either one of those guys can go where they're not recognized. So it's pretty cool. And they're great guys. And they truly are great guys. So, and then Robert's an awesome dude too. So, I mean,
it seems like they did a really good job picking the crew of you. How did that work? How did you get to be on it? I mean, the 4 of you made it. There's a whole bunch of people that compete in Strongman. What was that like?
Yeah. So Robert Oberst and I did a pilot for a show that was going to be called Texas Strongman. And it was the basis of it was going to be my family and the competitions and stuff like that. But I'm like, guys, I don't live in Texas. But like, it's okay. I'm like, whatever. And so, and it was going to be like Travis Ortmeyer, him trying to come back from the things that were going on in his life, which he was still kind of in the middle of that. And then a couple other people added in for flavor and stuff like that. And then Robert was kind of like the go-between for all of it. And so Robert was a focus, my family was a focus, and then everybody else kind of like played their part. But we did that, and we got to the pilot, and it was going to get picked up, and a couple people didn't sign the contracts and didn't take it seriously, and it never made it to fruition. But those people kind of remembered us. You know, it was E1 Entertainment that filmed it, and E1 Entertainment was the people that filmed The Strongest Man in History. So they came up with the kind of concept of what The Strongest Man in History would be, and they called me on the phone actually first, and then asked me to talk to who I thought would be the best, and they had a group of names. And I was like, well, you already know how Robert and I get along.
Yep.
You know, he's the funny guy. I'm the straight man. we do really well together and play off each other very well. And Eddie Hall is all personality, and he's got the goods. I mean, at that time, he had the biggest deadlift of all time. So he'd be perfect for it. And then Brian Shaw, you know, he's 4 times world's strongest man. He's a walking billboard.
Yeah, all he has to do is walk in the room. Yeah, he just has to walk in the room, and you know that this guy, that there's something about this guy. Yeah,
the strongest human being on the planet.
Yeah,
right now is in the room. Yeah, and so it was really neat. And they're like, well, what do you? And they asked me about a few other people, and I was like, well, this guy's really cool, but he does like Civil War enactments, and that's not going to work because he's not going to be able to lift any of this stuff. And there was a couple other people, and I was the same thing. Their personality is great, but in reality, the stuff that we got to lift, they're not going to be able to do.
They're not actually the world's strongest men. Like you have to actually be one of the strongest men in the world to do these things.
Yes, if you're going to leg press a car, you need to be pretty damn strong.
Yeah, right.
So, or do like Paul Anderson stuff. Yeah, you needed to be really strong. It was really sad because we were supposed to do a Louis Cyr episode, and it got canceled because we ended up doing Virginia. It was supposed to be Virginia and then Canada to finish with the Louis Cyr, and Eddie had tore his bicep off doing Eddie Eats America, doing the wrestling thing, and went back to England for about 10 days and then came back, and it put our scheduling off, and we had to wrap up shooting, so we didn't get to shoot the 8th episode, so we only had 7. But it would have been really neat because that would be one where doing his feats of strength, where it would be like doing Paul Anderson's. I mean, it was, you're walking on hollow ground there.
Yeah.
So it would be really cool. Yeah.
So doing the show, was there do you have like if you had to pick like the one most memorable moment from the show, could you narrow that down?
Oh, good God. There's
because I mean, it was like a big highlight reel. I mean, there was, every episode was great.
Yeah. I mean, actually lifting the log that was a little heavier than Orm Stralson did was really cool. Being able to lift it up. Because what they don't tell you is they placed it on his back. He took 3 steps, and it folded him in half and killed him. You know, they really don't tell people that. They didn't tell us that till we were done, of course.
Yeah.
But the Vikings picked up the mast and set it on his back.
Yeah.
So he never lifted it. It just got set on his back, and then he walked with it. So we actually picked it up. So that was kind of cool. It was really awkward. I mean, it was really, really awkward and very hard to find the balance point on, to say the least. That was pretty interesting. The hip lift, or the carousel lift at Paul Anderson's boys' home was amazing. With his family on there and everything else, that was pretty emotional. That was pretty. I still get choked up about it.
Well, you did cry several times on the show, didn't you, Nick?
Yeah, I'm kind of an emotional guy. You know, but that's okay. I care.
You got to have some.
And it was good.
If everyone was stone-faced on the show, it would be entertaining.
No.
Yeah. So it was pretty emotional to have his widow on there and his daughter and his grandkids and his son-in-law and everything else on the actual apparatus as we were doing it. That was really neat.
When Brian was in the basement there and he did the plate pinch with Paul's old 45s, did Brian manage to be able to take home a souvenir from the basement at all? I always wondered that if he was able to, because I could picture him really wanting to be able to keep something from there in his collection.
Oh my! Are you kidding? He was salivating over that. Was there.
Yeah.
I mean, literally was just he was carrying on and on and on. It was actually really cool to see.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he got to take anything.
Yeah.
I snagged a few things.
Yeah.
But not from Paul Anderson stuff. But I'm not sure. I know he was trying to work it out with the plates.
Yeah.
And I know that his old dumbbells were still in the backyard.
Okay. And
I know he was talking about those, but I don't know if Paula or the family came to an agreement with him about it.
I just knew they didn't talk about it on the show. Yeah, they didn't talk about it on the show, but I just knew, myself liking that stuff, and then just knowing what he's like, I bet he was just like, I have to have something from here, you know.
He was very much all about that. He really did. He really was.
Yeah.
It was really neat to see, actually. I know I got the Viking axe still. Yeah. I have that Thor's hammer. I still have that. I still got the shoes that Robert drank out of. That was pretty cool because those were actually my shoes, not Eddie's.
I thought I heard that before. Yeah, that those were actually your shoes. Yeah, that's funny.
They were my yoke shoes, so they were pretty nasty.
That is disgusting. How about like the being on TV part of it? Were they putting makeup on you guys beforehand, and how much were they were the producers coaching you very much through this stuff? Like, was there very many of those moments where they're, trying to...
That's what I always... you always wonder, how much direction are people being provided and how much is just spontaneous?
Like, how real was it, do you feel like?
It was fairly real. I mean, there were some situations, like, we went to eat in restaurants and stuff like that we knew what we were doing going in.
Right.
But for the most part, a lot of kind of how we interact and a lot of things we say... It's just us and how we interact. I mean, hey, we're checking in, but there might only be 3 rooms instead of 4, so you guys figure it out.
Right.
We're just like, okay, and then they start going, and Brian grabs the key, and then I'm like, I'm grabbing this key. You too. See you later.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally, that was Wyoming. That's what happened when we went to check in Wyoming. So Eddie and Robbie got to figure it out. So it was pretty cool. I mean, there is some stuff where we have interviews and we're sitting there and they'll coach us through some of that, and some of it we would say, and some of it we're like, he goes, it would sound better this way, and we in the end had to we either agreed with it or we didn't say it. Plain and simple.
Right. Yeah.
So it was, at the end of the day, we still had the final say in kind of what was said. So that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have that luxury.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? I mean, do you have, is there another show coming? Is there anything in discussion that, as far as that goes?
I don't know. I kind of get the feeling Brian's had some conversations, but I don't know. I mean, there's been talk about, possibly the 4 of us just doing our own YouTube channel and continuing on where we left and just do it ourselves. But Brian and Eddie have channels big enough where they can generate the revenue to do that.
Right.
So that would be totally up to them. If they wanted to do that, I'm definitely in, because, I mean, it was neat to go do the things that we did. It really was.
Right.
So as far as the networks go, it's on Hulu. If people watch the heck of it on Hulu, you could see that happen as well. So
I didn't know it was on Hulu now. I'm going to have to rewatch it on Hulu now. Then. That's a good. I'll contribute my views.
I'll do that too.
Yeah, if you guys just want to set it on Hulu every day and play,
Turn it on
and run
all
through
of
the
our
whole
TVs.
thing,
Yeah.
exactly. Then you would have a it would be very likely to see more stuff coming down the pike if that happened.
Yeah, it's hard for me to have any idea what people generally think of it because we're so into that culture that I loved it. Like it was like, oh, a television show on the History Channel about Strongman. Of course I'm going to love it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like I'm going to like it no matter what. So, and you're in it. Like it's hard for you to tell. Like, so I mean, it's probably hard to get a temperature gauge of like how well it's received.
I think it was received really well.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched the ratings.
Yeah.
4 of the shows were in the top 15.
Okay.
Out of the top 150 shows. And then 2 were in the top 20 and we had 1 in the top 25. We had nothing below the top 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's solid.
Yeah.
On cable.
That's cool.
So it was really solid. It's just, the COVID and then a lot of the other stuff that went on, it just got set to the side.
Right.
It is what it is. I would love to do more of those. And it was really neat getting the opportunity to go to the Olympia Expo after the show. Because I go to the thing here every year. And because I've been working, I never really got to go to a lot of the expos and stuff. And walking around the expo after the TV show was really neat because I would walk probably 10 feet and somebody comes, hey, can I get a picture? I'm like, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
And that's basically how I spent my whole day. It was really neat. And it's fun. I love getting back to people and spending time with them and talking to them and stuff like that. So I'm pretty appreciative of people that watch things, that come up and, say hi and say they like the show and stuff. So I really enjoyed it. It was neat to get that opportunity before this COVID mess.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Which this is quite possibly the most frustrating virus. It's the most frustrating non-world ending virus I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it.
I mean, you have, what is it, a 99.97 chance of survival if you get it? And if you're over 70, it's even higher. Or if you're under 70, your chances of survival are even higher. So most people don't realize 1.2 million people die every year from heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and respiratory issues. 1.2 million people die every single year. Can you not figure out most of the COVID numbers coming from that?
Yeah, it's I think everyone's ready for it to be done.
Yeah. Yes. Very.
It's so anyway. I don't want to get into the politics and the rest of it, but it's crazy because my wife's an ER nurse and she's the rule out COVID nurse at least once a week, and so she sees what's coming in there. And when she's sitting here going, our room's not packed like this. Our ICU usually operates at 80% anyway. That's why it's profitable. So for us to be operating at 90 or 95% is normal. So I don't know why everybody's freaking out about this.
And you live in Las Vegas. I mean, Las Vegas city limits or, within the city of Las Vegas. So she works in Las Vegas then too, I would assume. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. She works, right down in the heart of, I can't really tell you which hospital.
Yeah, no, right.
But she gets a lot of people that come in from the Strip, and
yes, I was going to say there's probably been some pretty crazy things that she's seen over the years there.
Oh my God! That woman's got a story every single day about something crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
about imagine.
One of the things is there was a guy who had a screw in his ankle because he'd broken his ankle and there was a screw in it. Well, the screw kind of comes out, I guess, apparently, and the guy just pushes it back in. But it was getting kind of really, yeah, and it was getting more painful and really getting annoying. And he felt something moving around in there, so he felt he should probably come into the ER. Yeah, the guy had maggots living in his ankle.
Oh,
yeah. So they just took the doctor just takes the screw out with his fingers because it was pretty much out anyway, and they have to flush and take all the maggots, all the larvae that's in there out of there. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. We just came home with that story.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
They're just like, and it's just some of the ridiculous things that people do to themselves. And there's sad things. It's 110 degrees outside.
Right.
Somebody decides to go on a meth binge for a couple days, and their core temperature is now 109 degrees. There's nothing you can do. The person, they're going to expire.
Right.
That stuff like that's pretty sad, but it's what happens.
Yep.
People get a little out of control from time to time.
Yes. Nick, we've got this game that we like to play with everyone that we have on the show. We call it Overrated, Underrated. And what we do is we hand selected a few topics, special Nick Best topics that we've got here ready for you. And what you've got to do is decide if each one is overrated or underrated. And the important thing to remember is you can't ride the line on the middle. You got to pick one or the other. And but you get your druthers to elaborate as much or as little as you want to. So you get to go there. But so are you ready to play?
I'm ready to play.
Right,
this
perfect.
could take a while. I've been told them a lot of
that's what we're here for. Okay. Overrated or underrated, the Hoover Dam?
Underrated. Definitely underrated. It's an amazing piece of work that's sitting out there. I mean, it's 700 feet of concrete that some of it hasn't even cured yet from the 1930s. So it's pretty cool. And this town would not be here without that dam. So yeah, definitely underrated.
Okay. Is that something, if you live in Vegas, is like, I imagine you're not taking Hoover Dam tours every other year?
No, but I have been on the tour, and I've been on the old tour that went all the way down through the dam and all the way down to the bottom, down to the Colorado River where it comes out the bottom of the dam. So I've been on the extensive tour. Yeah, it was pretty neat. I was much younger when I did that. But yeah. I've also got to see it overflow into the spillway.
Oh, wow.
And that hasn't happened in decades.
Yeah,
so
I didn't really know that was a thing.
Neat. Yeah, they tested it probably 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
So the lake was all the way up, and then they stopped the water for a couple of days, and it went over the spillway.
Okay.
So that was really neat to see come out the bottom, because it just like hydrojets just shooting out into the Colorado River. It's pretty badass. Yeah.
That's cool. So underrated for sure.
Yeah, definitely underrated.
Okay. Overrated or underrated Fortnite? We saw you had a clip on Instagram at World's Strongest Man where you playing Fortnite.
Oh wow.
It's pretty hot with the kids these days.
It is. I'm going to say underrated because I play it all the time now.
Okay.
and now I got two of my training partners playing it as well, and so now we're getting on. We're playing duos and trios.
Would you say you're good at it?
No, I'm good at leveling up. I'm good at going and get the experience points and going to do the tasks. I'm horrible at building, especially at building fast, and I'm not too bad at shooting at other people, but I'm horrible at building and the fighting part of it. I'm not as quick and as agile. But Justin, on the other hand, is pretty good at the shooting part of it. He's also a police officer, so that helps.
Yeah.
But he's getting better at the building part of it. But my daughter and my son are unbelievably good at it. My daughter's like building, and so yeah. I'll play the game up to about 15 guys left, and I'll have all these great guns, and I've done all this stuff, and then I'll call Jess down, and she'll come down and she'll get on it and she'll finish it off, and she's won probably like 20 times that way. Yeah. She's like, hey, come over here, and she comes over and she she's like, this guy's really sweaty. And I'm like, I had no idea you called the guy that was really good in building things sweaty. But, so yeah, it's fun. It's a thing I get to do with my kids, but I have a good time with it. Yeah.
All right. We know you're a Vegas man. We also know you're a History Channel man. So overrated or underrated Pawn Stars?
Ooh, that one's tough. That one's tough. Oof. Yeah.
I guess first question, maybe we should ask you, have they ever called you in as an expert before? They always have their experts.
Yeah. Let's get Nick in here.
They have not.
Well, okay. I think they need to get you on the list.
I would definitely go in. Legitimately, what Pawn Stars has done and what they've built up is actually pretty underrated.
Oh, it's super impressive what they've managed to do.
It really is, because to go where they went with the pawn shops alone. I have a friend here that I grew up and went to high school with. The guy that got me into lifting weights in the first place, his parents owned a pawn shop here called John's Loan. And he's now the owner of it. And it's been in their family for probably 5 decades now. And to see the inner workings of a pawn shop and stuff like that. And I go there and hang out with them, there's a day a week where I go in and hang out with them for a couple hours, because we've been friends for almost 40 years now. And so I just go catch up with them. But to know the process of determining value and what somebody else is willing to pay, and having to have that conversation with somebody when they think what they have is worth $10,000, but
right.
they can only give you about $2,000 or $3,000, because it could be 10 years before that thing gets sold. It could be 2 weeks. So the one thing Pawn Stars does have an advantage over other people is, with the show, people come in to see things, and they get a lot more people in the show in the store, so they'll be able to turn the merchandise in the store faster than a regular pawn shop will. So that's an advantage they have from being on the show, being on TV. But it's still an ungodly amount of work. And if you make a mistake, the mistake's pretty bad. I mean, if you misloan somebody, you think this Rolex is worth $50,000, so you loan them, $20,000. It turns out there's a lot of fake stuff that was in it, or it was a fake Rolex. You're out $20K, $30K. It's a lot of money to be out by making a simple mistake.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got to know your stuff inside and out. It's no game. So it's pretty impressive how they work and how they can assess value to just about anything. So I would say that part's underrated.
Okay. Last one then, and the last one's always worth all the marbles, so it all kind of comes down to this one. Overrated or underrated In-N-Out Burger?
Oh, way overrated. Way overrated.
And we don't have it here. We're from South Dakota. We don't even
You're not in the line at noon going around the block to get it?
We filmed in South Dakota. You know that, right?
You went to I think you went to, didn't you go to North Dakota, Metroflex in North Dakota or something like that too?
Yeah, we trained there too, yeah.
Yeah. So were you in South Dakota for part of the time too?
I think briefly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I did know that you were in Metroflex in Fargo. We heard, I almost wanted to pack up and go make a day trip and go fanboy and see what's going on there. But
you guys should have came up there. I mean, we were in that gym like 3 times.
Yeah, that's right.
We had a good time there. There's a lot of crazy stuff happens in there.
Well, next time
there might have been snowballs flying.
Next time you come through the northeast South Dakota area, make sure to let us know.
Yeah.
We won't miss it that time.
Okay. Oh, that'd be great.
Yes. We usually tell that to people as a joke, because normally no one ever comes to this area, but you guys actually were around here. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. You know what? It was a pretty cool area. I liked it up there. So, but I don't know. I love Las Vegas. I really do. We were training yesterday and it was like 75 degrees in the garage.
Yeah, it's not like that
in
now.
In December.
Yeah. We don't have that.
So
We've been having
Yeah.
record highs of like 50.
Yeah.
And it's actually been very nice.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's freezing here. That's like
Yeah.
really cold.
Yeah.
I mean, 75 is like perfect. 110 is about what we get during the summer. 105, 110.
Yeah. I don't know how cool
So-
I would be with that after a while, though. That might be a little hard on me.
well, Tanner, it's a dry heat.
That's true. It's a dry heat. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a dry heat until July. And from about the middle of July till the end of August, the monsoons come up, and the humidity will get up to 60, 70% sometimes. So if you don't want to be here from July till the end of August.
Yeah.
September starts, you're good. You're good to go in September.
July is probably when the cheap tickets, when the cheap airfare that we could get there is, though. That's probably when nobody wants to go.
That is correct. that is correct.
Yeah.
But the pools are still open, and the pools are really cool during that time of the year because, there's less people here, so it makes going to the pools here a lot of fun.
Yep. That kind of covers most of what we wanted to talk about, Nick, but I would
Okay.
we want to give you a chance. I know you talked about your YouTube channel, anything else like that you wanted to talk about or get out there for everyone?
Yeah, just check me out on Instagram. It's Nick Best Strongman. YouTube, it's Nick Best. It's pretty simple stuff. Film a lot of my training. Dylan's got me doing like top 5 things, so I talk about top 5 things quite a bit, and then technique work. If you have any ideas or want to see me film a video on a certain topic about training, just send the idea, and Dylan will get working on it, and I'll put up the video. That's about it. I mean, and thank you all for watching the show and being a fan and just everything. I mean, I love being able to do what I do, and I love being able to train, and I love being able to coach people. So it's fun. I had a really good time. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. We really appreciated having you on here. This was really cool, and this will come out. I think this will come out next week, so be on the lookout for it. We'll get it out there to everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Hey,
All right,
thanks, Nick.
Cool, Nick.
Tommy,
See you later.
Tommy, Tanner, have a good one, and thank you again.
All right,
We'll see you,
Okay. Bye-bye.
Mr. Nick Best.
Big Nick, thick Nick,
Thick Nick.
Yeah, if there ever was a thick Nick,
You would have the crown.
yeah,
Well, that was cool.
that was. We got to learn a lot about. It's just interesting when someone's been on a cable, a major cable network like that. Like it's just a weird area that we don't live in, or that
And
we
on
don't
top of that,
experience
being
much.
in like the strength world too.
Right.
Like,
Yes,
so,
it's the combination of the two.
yeah, like they're coming from a perspective that we kind of get and
Yeah.
have some reference from.
Right. So that was cool beans for sure.
It was oh wow, Tanner, really been.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
There we
There we
go.
go.
It's official now.
Yeah. It wouldn't be quite
2 cool beans.
everything without that. What else do we have to cover today, Tommy? Is
Yeah,
there?
we've covered a lot today, actually,
Okay.
Tanner.
What about just a real quick couple podcast reviews so I can
Ooh, I'm always
delete these out of my
always
saved
down for a
folder
few
here.
Quick podcast reviews.
This first one is, and I think Tommy, now we're at 270.
Really?
So we are
The road
really
to 300
closing in.
keeps inching closer.
Yeah. Are we past the road to 300?
We're really. I think 275
Okay,
officially
that's what we're
marks.
saying.
Like you could. Some might say we're there already, but I think 275 officially marks the road to 300.
Okay. So this one is titled The Road to 300.
All right, they get it. They know what we're going through.
The Massenomics podcast has been called many things. The Chevy of JD Power and Associates Awards consistency, the Amazon Prime of mildly humorous lifting apparel, the ground lock deadlift slipper of shipping availability, the Texas Power Bar of house construction similes, the hybrid performance method of doing 2 things at once, and the SPUD Inc. of just making up stuff and selling it. But in these uncertain times, I offer another comparison. Massenomics is the car talk of lifting podcasts. 2 guys with a show about a specific topic who are at their most entertaining when talking about anything and everything else. Are you familiar with car talk?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
I've listened to it before. I mean, it's been on for a long time. It's very popular. So if your podcast goals are humor related, lifting related, or both, give the Massenomics podcast a try. Do you like what I like what he did?
They've
that
listened to a few ads,
yeah.
that's for sure.
From the former president of Ontario. That is a review if I've ever heard one.
That is a really good one.
Yeah. This next one is from Big JD24, and he says, "Cool beans. This podcast is great to listen to, especially if you like the same repetitive ads, a boiling hot LaCroix, and a nice apple pie. Oh, and powerlifting." Last one. Well then, lift hard, live easy. This podcast gives you all the information you need on how to get strong, how to stay strong, and how to use your strength. Along with weekly sparkling water reviews and hot takes on politics, the Massenomics podcast covers it all. I began listening near the beginning of the pandemic, and a couple months ago became a podcast supporting member.
Ooh, we converted him.
Yeah, coincidentally, my friend does not listen to the podcast, and she tested positive for COVID Sunday. I'm not saying that.
Okay, never laughed so hard at hearing someone had COVID. I mean, not laughing at their unfortunate circumstances, just the conclusions that were drawn there is what's so funny.
But well, he says, I am not saying that listening to the podcast and being a supporting member is the vaccine scientists are searching for. But with everything going on, can you really take your chances?
That's good. That's good.
There's a couple hard hitter reviews there where
those
I'm like,
reviews are bringing the heat.
Like
this
people
week.
took some time to
Man,
like,
if the reviews are gonna be like that every week, we don't even need to talk, Tanner.
No,
we can
we'll
just
just
let
read
those
the
be the show and be like,
reviews.
all right, that's it, everyone.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Hey, you want to hear our inside jokes? Here they are in the form of podcast reviews. But kudos to that guy for signing up to become a supporting member of the podcast.
Yeah, and if you're saying, wow, that guy sounds really cool, I want to be like him, you just go to massenomics.com/join.
Yeah.
You'll be right there on our supporting member page, and you can get signed up. Many different support levels for any budget.
Yeah, and you're wearing the Massenomics Lift Ugly Christmas sweater. I did put out that we're going to give a couple of those away to Massenomics supporting members. So I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do that, but maybe when you listen to this, you could still get signed up and have a chance at winning one of those.
Maybe, but if you
not.
haven't, you'd want to hurry though.
But point being, it won't be the last time that we do special things.
Yeah.
It isn't the first and won't be the last time that we do special things for the supporting members only.
Because at that point, you're a friend of the podcast.
That's really the thing. We call it supporting members, but really what you're really earning is to be a friend of the podcast. And we all know there's two ways to do that. One of them is to become a supporting member. The other one, if you don't know by this point, then you don't get to know.
Yep.
Your best bet is just to become a supporting member of the podcast if you want to be a friend of the podcast. That's probably all of our stuff.
I think that's everything.
Been going really long on all this.
Yeah, we have been lately. Really stretching these things out.
That wraps us up from Western, Northeast, South Dakota. But before we completely wrap up, let's hear about, even though we heard about all the sponsors in the podcast reviews,
the reviews already got it for
cover
us.
them again. Hybrid Performance Method is your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. Use our discount code there. It's MASS in all caps, MASS. That'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of your membership at hybridperformancemethod.com. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more and buy one of the bars for yourself, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they're always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. And this episode is brought to you by SPUD Inc. SPUD Inc. Straps has a goal to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Make sure to check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. Tommy, where do they find you on?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but more importantly, make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.
I was inverted.